Growing up with trauma doesn't just mean that we make some really off choices about who we date. They're unavailable, they're inappropriate, they represent some repetition of past trauma. But that history of trauma sometimes desensitizes us to the way that we are sometimes unavailable and inappropriate to other people. We are the bad choice that they are making. And part of healing means being willing to face that honestly, where we may have, even though our intentions were good, we may have used other people, we objectified them, and we completely overlooked what was in their best interest. My letter today is from a woman I'll call Rebecca, and she writes, "Hi Anna, I am currently in a relationship with a man/man-child." I've got my pencil here, I'm going to circle things I want to come back to. Let's read this all the way through and I'll see if I can help you, Rebecca. All right, he's 23 and I'm 29, she says. He's had a really rough past and got through his addiction to drugs and such. He's been sober, but I feel like he isn't doing the work to heal or isn't seeking counseling to help. Our relationship was intense from the start. We talked and cuddled for hours for like the first week. I was excited, but there were so many red flags that I let slide. I honestly feel like this whole relationship, I have just been passive because it's hard to do what I know is best if there's emotions involved. I loved the feeling of somebody being so into me and the potential of our relationship. Fast forward a month. Besides the physical, we had nothing in common. He didn't ask me about myself, really. He didn't like to go out, didn't want to take a walk or spend time in nature, things that I loved, and when we hung out, it was mostly in silence. He would smoke and be on the phone. I felt invisible and frustrated, but he would hold my hand and give me affection, so I clung to that as proof of his love. He also had a dark sense of humor and made threatening jokes, but told me I was being too sensitive and I needed to toughen up. I've tried telling him how I felt because I've spent a lot of time trying to heal, and I value emotional connection. He didn't relate. He always made my feelings mean something about him and got really defensive and then shut down. My dilemma is I know he's immature, but he's got good intentions and is trying to change and grow. He wants to support me, and I'm attracted to that provider characteristic. But I'm not getting what I need now, and I'm not sure if I can be in this relationship and continue to forego my needs with just faith that things will work out in the future. Am I accepting crumbs, punishing myself? I feel like this relationship isn't right, but I don't want to let go of the potential. Okay, Rebecca, gotcha. I think I can help. This is going to be a tough love fairy video, okay? It may not be what you wanted to hear. I guess you could say that you're accepting crumbs on this one, but what I'm hearing is that you are using somebody. You are using somebody on a fantasy about what you would like in a relationship that he cannot give you and has given no sign that he would. And I'm going to be very stern with you about this because of something you told me at the beginning, which is he got through his addiction to drugs and such. He's sober, but I feel like he isn't doing the work to heal or isn't seeking counseling or help. All right, as somebody who's had experience with addicts in my life in the most tragic way, I just want to say, if somebody is newly sober, you have no business having any kind of a relationship with them. That is not in their best interest. It's one thing if people have been together a long time and one partner gets sober and the longtime partner supports them and is in their life. That is one thing, and it's not even then, it's not always good for both people. But you've been seeing him a month and you're putting all this energy and demand on him that he should turn around and meet your needs. He's a 23-year-old addict who's barely sober. What you describe is a sexual relationship. There's hot sex. That's what's going on here. There's no other sign of a relationship. He holds your hand a little bit, and you're connecting that in a crap fit fashion to a fantasy of having somebody be in a provider role of looking out for you. But that is not what's going on. A 23-year-old freshly sober person who's not doing the work on himself is honestly not in a position to give you that or make your life stable or make you feel loved. They need to put first things first. They need to deal with their sobriety. And he may or he may not be doing that right now, but I'm telling you, honey, you do not want to be the one who pressured him into a bad place with the demand that he turn into some kind of boyfriend for you. That's not what's going on. And so what you don't tell me, but I can read between the lines, is you had your own trauma. I can tell right now you were seriously neglected, that you even have the capacity to think of yourself as like, oh, this is such a great potential relationship. It's not a potential relationship. Even if somebody were the right age and in a stable place, I would always caution people, don't fall in love with the potential of somebody. The potential of somebody is your fantasy of how they should be. And there is nothing worse for another human being than coming in and imposing a picture on them of how you think they should be. He is where he is. He's on his path of where this is taking him. I hope he survives. You know, addiction is an extremely serious problem. This part where you say you're worried that he isn't doing the work to heal or seeking counseling to help, that is your inner cry for help, that you need to be doing your work. You need to be getting the counseling. You need to be focusing on what's going on in your life, that at the age of 29, you're getting together with a 23-year-old who has nothing to give emotionally, who you have nothing in common with. All right, that is where your pain is coming from. So it's totally natural. I've been there. I know what it's like to just kind of, you know, you just end up in some sexual relationship and then you're just like, oh no, this isn't really anything that I wanted. So then you try to make the other person change. It's a losing strategy. It's not love. And I told you this would be tough love, but when we try to change other people like that to fit some need that we have, it's not love, it's selfishness. And it's not good for them. And this is not, yeah, you're saying like the first week it was so intense, but all relationships where there's a sexual attraction are intense in the first week. If the lights have gone out in a month, you know, sweetie, there's nothing going on here. I think the integrity path is to very lovingly step out of this relationship and go support yourself in healing from whatever happened to you, that you would be in this sort of like, it is a breadcrumb situation, but it's also a vampire situation where you're, you know, trying to feed a fantasy you have about somebody really loving you and caring about you from somebody who's extremely vulnerable and could be in great danger from his addiction. So that's my tough love for you, Rebecca. I hope you do that. We have a lot of resources here at Crappy Childhood Fairy for people who are trying to do that brave step of stepping out of the unhealthy thing and to create a safe and nutritious pause where you can work on your stuff. It could start with the free course, The Daily Practice. I hope you'll take it. Anybody watching, it's always down in the description section. You'll find it on the free tools page of my website. And you can learn the techniques that I use to start healing and, you know, start feeling better today. Start filling in that pain and angst that makes it necessary to keep pursuing it from somebody else. Sometimes healing these things, it takes some time, but the first thing you need is a way to feel better right away. All right, so I wish you well. I hope that goes well, and I hope he stays safe. And if you're interested in learning about what are the signs that somebody is a good partner, I'm not advocating, Rebecca, that you go out and look for a good partner. I'm advocating that you become a good partner to start with, all right? And then start looking for somebody who matches you. What are the signs that somebody is good? I've got a video about that right here, and I will see you very soon.